Jai Baba. Nothing is real but God. Nothing matters but love for God. God is the only reality. All else that seems real is illusory. God and I are one. Meher Baba. Avatar Meher Baba ki Jai. Jai Baba to everyone, and thanks to beloved Baba. We are meeting and reading this book called Meher Baba Calling. This is the calling of Delna. So we thought,
Dubai.
okay, Delna from Dubai, yes. So we are reading this. We are on page 37. It says, start dying.
It is time you started dying, the death of low desires. It is all bliss, yet all are miserable because of ignorance, which causes desires to be fulfilled. The goal of each and every one is to attain the no desire state. This is the goal. You say, I want this, I want that. Needs are not wants, and wanting inevitably leads to suffering. So, try your best to want less and less. Try loving more and more, and then you will want less of that which is beyond your needs and want more love. All you have enjoyed all these years is nil. All you have suffered today is nil. It was all illusion. It is your right to be happy, so why try to be unhappy by wanting things? Want nothing, and you will have everything.
Start dying. Somehow, I don't know why, but this is the word dying is a very uh, lovable word for me. We are all afraid to die, but actually, we are all meant to really die. Really die, not in the physical body sense. We are afraid because we identify ourselves with the physical form. And when the physical form vanishes, it brings sadness, gloominess, brooding, etc., etc. But Baba says that no one dies, no one knows to die. The one who knows to die is never born again. In other words, we must all aim at really dying. And what is real dying? That's what Baba is explaining here. This physical death, in any which way, everybody is going to shed the body and die. But that is not real death, because we are going to come back again and again and again a million times. So if we really want to die, we must die such a death that we are never born again. We are out of this game or race of Punarjanam, coming and going, and we merge into our real self and enjoy infinite bliss eternally. Very difficult to explain what is infinite bliss. Baba had said once that, now this is, of course, we are all adults, so it's perfectly okay to say this, that the greatest pleasure of the physical pleasure, the greatest pleasure is the pleasure that you get with sexual intercourse. That's what Baba says. And that is something like, from there's an ocean, and there is a drop in the ocean, and there is a shadow of that drop, and Baba says that is the seventh shadow. So one can imagine how much more blissful the the bliss or the infinite bliss that Baba is speaking about. Baba says, it is time you start dying. The death of low desires. Low desires would include so many things. Any desire that is aimed at selfishness, I, my, me, and mine. If we analyze any desire, It is all aiming at I, my, me, and my. Anger, thwarting of desires. Greed, I want to possess something from somebody, Lust, physical, gratification of physical senses. uh, Jealousy, somebody has had it and you want to have it for yourself. Whatever you, pride, same thing. So everything is focused on I, my, me, and my. And Baba says, once we shed our desires, once we realize that I am not this body, that I am the spirit, and that is, we have done it in our Tuesday session. This is, that spirit is Sakala Pasara, as we call it. It is everywhere. It is in everything. That means actually you are everywhere and in everything. That part of you, which is the spirit. Baba says it is all bliss, yet all are miserable because of ignorance which causes desires to be fulfilled. So what is the cause of our suffering? It is the ignorance, which we, out of ignorance, we feel that if we satisfy a particular desire, we will be happy. But that is the ignorance, and that ignorance is caused by, we did it yesterday or whenever last time, through Maya. On Wednesday, we did Maya. Because of Maya, there is ignorance which creates an illusion that if you follow a certain pathway, a certain lane, a certain track, you will come to happiness, eternal happiness. But no, you realize that it is very short lived, it is very ephemeral, it is very transient, it is very impermanent, and then you turn back and take to another route and to other route and to other route. May it be wealth, may it be name, may it be fame, may it be anything. We all try to get happiness through chasing our desires, which Baba says is a wrong way of getting happiness. In somewhere else, Baba has said, that no one seeks suffering. Nobody seeks suffering. Come to me, suffering, come to me. No one seeks suffering, but it comes to him as an inevitable outcome of the very manner in which he seeks happiness. That means the very manner, the very methodology, the very modus operandi for all of us for seeking happiness is what creates suffering. Now, Baba goes on to say the goal of each and every one is to attain the no desire state. That means we have to gradually cut down on desires. Baba is differentiating between needs and wants. Needs are very essential to keep your body and the spirit as one together, like eating, sleeping, drinking water, all that, roti kapra makan, as we say, is necessary. Okay, fine. But beyond that is all wants, is all desires. And the more you trim it, the more less, that is the lesser you have, the more happy you are. There's another very beautiful one. I've been repeating this also about worry. People are worrying, people are in strife, people are agitated, people are irritated, people are fearful, people are nervous, so many negative emotions. And this is what Baba had to say about worry. Among so many things that Baba said, that worry is a product of feverish imagination. It's a product. It is something which we manufacture. Worry is a product of feverish imagination working under the stimulus of desires. The stimulus means that which is a fuel to the fire. You are feeding fuel to the fire. As long as the fuel is there, the fire will keep raging. The moment you withdraw the fuel, the fire will gradually reduce and then finally extinguish. So the fuel for any of these negative aspects like worry, tension, stress, whatever you call it, these are all different nomenclatures, is, according to Baba, desires. You let go of desires and much of all these will automatically come down. I'll repeat what Baba says. The goal of each and every one is to attain the no desire state. This is the goal. That means when we reach what we call self realization or God realization, Aham Brahmasmi, whatever we say, we reach gradually, we are cutting down on desires less and less and less and less till finally, when we reach the goal, there is no desire. You say, I want this, I want that. All the time, we are always wanting things. Needs are not wants, and wanting inevitably leads to suffering. I repeat, these are God's words. Wanting inevitably leads to suffering. So, try your best to want less and less. Try loving more and more. When we love more, what do we do? When we love, genuine love, we are talking about, not the selfish love, not the other lower types of love, genuine, pure love. What we do? The flashlight of our consciousness, the focus of all that we do shifts from I, my, me, and mine to the other person, our beloved, whom we would like to please. So it's a very natural, sahaj, automatic process of starving our own selfish ego. So automatically we are thinking more about the other and not about ourselves. That is why Baba says, try loving, loving more and more, and then you will want less of that which is beyond your needs and more, sorry, and want more love. Take an example of anybody, a mother loving a child. All of the mother's wants, like having a certain amount of sleep or having a certain amount of delicious food or whatever, you have now focused on your child. So you do not care whether your wants are fulfilled or not. Your focus is on making the child happy. Think about an association with girlfriend and boyfriend or husband and wife, where most of the mothers, most of the wives, they sort of sacrifice. They deprive themselves of the good things of life, of the wants, and they would like to apportion that portion to their beloved, be it husband, be it a son or a daughter, be it anybody, that way. So try loving, loving more and more, and then you will want less and less of that which is beyond your needs and want more love. Once you start loving somebody, you want to love more and more and more. And as you love more and more and more, you think of the happiness and the benefit to the other person more and more. And as you are focused on the happiness of the other person more and more, you are focused less and less on your wants. So, this is a very automatic and a very natural way of cutting down our wants and cutting down all our desires, and also simultaneously cutting down our selfish, self centeredness or ego. All you have enjoyed all these years is nil. If you really go to see the present moment, what we call now, or the eternal now, is the only real moment. Baba had in once, Baba, uh, wherever he may be, he asked somebody to bring chocolates from the market, and he gave substantial piece of chocolates to everybody in the manli, and everybody relished it. And after a little while, Baba asked, do you still have that taste of the chocolate? And everybody obviously said no. Then this was Baba's very unique and inimitable way of bringing out spiritual secrets, so to
Truths.
speak, spiritual truths in a way out of these small incidents. And that is how Baba said that that pleasure that you got out of eating the chocolate was very short lived. It is not there. It is not there at all. So, in other words, the fulfillment of all the desires, it is only for that moment. and after that it is not there. But the bliss that you will enjoy after you renunciate, you renounce all your desires, that bliss is perennial, it is permanent, it is ongoing. There is no break in it. It will keep on going for eternity. That means forever. In other words, why do you relinquish or why do you give up such an important thing for the sake of? I remember one, one, one sage had come, a holy man. So some of the people went to meet him and they said that you are such a great renunciator. You have renounced everything and then you are going in search of God. So the sage said, that no, better than I are you. You are greater renunciator, that you have renounced God and running after these material things. So you are a more great renunciator than I am, because what I have renounced are only the worldly things which are as it is, they have no value. I have renounced something very little, very small of value, but you have renounced something very big, and that means you have renounced God and you are running after small things. So Baba says, all you have enjoyed all these years is nil. Today, that enjoyment is not there. It is there only as a memory, but actual live enjoyment is not there. What we call as real time enjoyment is not there. So that itself shows that every moment is what should I say, impermanent moment in a sense, And if you want to make that bliss eternal, then you have to renounce the lower self. All you have suffered today is nil. Baba says somewhere that 99% of our suffering is self-created. Baba said it, we take it. We believe that. If you really, sorry, if we really analyze our suffering as of this point in time, this now, then you will realize that I am not suffering because of the now. I am suffering because of something that has happened in the past, which ought not to have happened, or it has not happened in the past, which should have happened either this way or on the other side. I am suffering because I am anxious. I am worried of what will happen in the future. Right now, I have no suffering. That means you are actually importing suffering or borrowing suffering either from the past or from the future, which are illusory suffering or apparent suffering, not actual suffering, and then you are suffering. You see, there may be certain people who are actually right now suffering. I'm not denying the fact, but the majority of the people, when they are brooding, when they are weeping and wailing, when they are crying, when they are complaining, when they are playing a victim's role, you ask them just now what is happening? Just now nothing is happening. Then why are you in that mood? You are in that mood because of something in the past or something in the future. And therefore, Baba always keeps on telling us to live in the present moment, to live in the eternal now. All you have suffered today is nil. It was all illusion. Why? Because illusion is impermanent, perennial, whereas reality or truth is permanent. If that suffering was the truth, you would have kept on suffering even now, but that's gone. If that pleasure was the truth, you would be enjoying that pleasure even now, but now you're not enjoying, it has gone. That means it was all an illusion. It is your right to be happy. So why try to be unhappy by wanting things? It is very important to understand that happiness or unhappiness is a choice, and that choice is given to us. Most of the time, most of the people are unhappy because of somebody else or something else outside of them. Somebody said something to me and I felt hurt, or somebody did something to me which I did not like, and so I am unhappy. But if you take a vow, nirnay, if you decide here and now at this moment that nothing and nobody outside of me can make me unhappy ever, unless it can only make you unhappy if you give power to that which is outside of you. You are giving the power to make you unhappy, then you will be unhappy. Surely you will be unhappy. So once we have decided and once we are anchored in that thought that really speaking, nothing and nobody can make me unhappy unless I give permission to myself to become unhappy, then of course you can be unhappy at the slightest of things. It is raining. I want to go out and have a rocking time, but it is raining. I am unhappy. You see, but if you decide that no, okay, it is raining, I can't help it. There's nothing I can do about it. I'm accepting it, and let me enjoy the rains. Then you are not unhappy. So, like that, we have to make ourselves so strong that nothing outside of us or nobody outside. See, people may say anything, people may do anything. We have no control outside of us, but we have full control within us over ourselves. And that control we must wisely exercise so that we do not get into a trap of playing the role in this drama of life, playing the victim's role in this drama. Poor me, what can I do? I have become a victim. That fellow is a, what should I say? Villain. That fellow is a villain. He's always doing this to me. He's always saying such nasty things about me. Let him do. Let him say anything. Let him do anything. If you decide not to be unhappy, you will not be. So Baba says, want nothing and you will have everything. Because in the scheme of things, this is my understanding, in the scheme of things, whatever that your consciousness of the soul needs will be provided for by the universe. You call it universe, you call it life, you call it Baba, you call it God, any name you, whatever your needs are, it will be fulfilled. Whatever that is due to you will always come to you no matter what. Even if you try to run away from you, from that situation, it will come to you. Both ways, the good as well as the not so good. Any questions on this chapter number 37? Start dying. Anybody has anything to ask? Nobody. Excellent. So
13.
everybody is now dead. Everybody is dying now. Okay. Now we go to next chapter, 38. I'll be stopping at about 6:25 because there's Dhuni and people may like to go to Dhuni. So around 6:20, 25, I'll stop today. Okay.
Do all for me. The less you think of yourself and the more you think of Baba, the sooner the ego goes and Baba remains. When your ego goes away entirely, I am one with you. So, bit by bit, you have to go. Today, your nose, tomorrow, your ear, then your eyes, your hands, everything. So, better think of me when you eat, sleep, see, or hear. Enjoy all. Don't discard anything, but think it is Baba. Baba who enjoys, Baba who is eating. It is Baba sleeping soundly. And when you wake up, remember it is Baba getting up. Keep this one thought constantly with you. If you do wrong, then think Baba is doing wrong. If you get a pain, think it is Baba having a pain. If you do all this sincerely, you will know something. Try to forget yourself and do all for Baba.
Such an easy, practical, doable advice coming from God Himself. I have not come across such doable advice, as we say, in any of the earlier scriptures. I've read a bit, not I've not read in depth, but it needs courage and it needs wisdom to totally turn our consciousness into I am not the doer, it is Baba who is doing. We have to, like I can say, 180 degrees, it has to take a right about turn. Baba says, do all for me. The less you think of yourself and the more you think of Baba, the sooner the ego goes and Baba remains. In Wednesday session also I had said that most of us are uh, engrossed in the hunting of how to find God. We are all so engrossed. We are so much in the, we want to find Baba, we want to find God, we want to do this. And Baba says that the more you exert to find God, the more you get bound within yourself and by yourself. Many people are into so many others spiritual, Baba calls it spiritual gymnastics, but spiritual sadhanas we call it, to give it a decent name. We are all engrossed in spiritual sadhanas. Nothing wrong about it. Please don't misunderstand the statement. But these sadhanas, whether you do nama japa or tapas, whatever tapa or meditation or concentration or pranayama or whatever that we consider as spiritual sadhanas, Baba says, in no uncertain terms, it binds you. It binds you because you are doing it from the platform of I am the doer. The doership remains with you. The ego is aggrandized. You do fasting, you do silence, you do jatra, go walking from this place to that place. You do anything, Baba says, it binds. Here, Baba is giving us such a simple, doable situation. But because it is so simple, it becomes most difficult because our mind is attuned to doing complex and complicated things. If somebody tells us to do something, get up in the middle of the night and do this, or get up at 3 o'clock in the morning and do this sadhana, we are very happy to do that because that there is some uh, complication in that. There is something difficult about it. But when something very easy is given to us, we do not appreciate it. We do not understand. Now, Baba says, and I repeat this, this is God's own words. I read the first line. I'll repeat it. The less you think of yourself, the more you think of Baba, the sooner the ego goes and Baba remains. That is, see, the whole game of this spirituality, of this reaching the goal, is nothing but a game of moving from unconscious divinity to conscious divinity. Divinity is given, divinity is the platform. It is by default, everyone and everything is divine. Everyone and everything is God in one way or the other. But that God is superimposed, covered, enveloped, engrossed, enclosed, whatever you call it, by a heap of samskaras or impressions, which is created through all our activities connected with I, my, me, and mine. As simple as that. And Baba says, the more you try to fight with that kachra, you are actually inculcating or inviting or gathering or amassing more kachra. So, what is the way out? The way out now is to do things as if you are not the doer. When you do things you are not the doer, gradually that kachra will melt, it will dissolve, and finally, I remember I have been sharing this incident uh, many times. I have done that. Somebody had asked Erach, why I keep repeating is because there are people who only come on Tuesdays, there are people who come Wednesdays, and there are very few who come on all the days. So I said it in one of the sessions where somebody asked Erach, like this, how can we hoodwink ourselves? How can we fool ourselves by saying that I am not the doer, that it is Baba who is doing, when I know that I am the doer? Isn't it? I am telling a lie. I am telling an untruth. I am deceiving myself. I am fooling myself. And Eraj gave a brilliant answer. Eraj said that from the standpoint of the truth, that is what I gathered from Baba. That is his way of saying, this is what I have gathered by remaining with Baba. And he says, what I have gathered from Baba is from the standpoint of truth. It is he only who is doing, and you are fooling yourself that you are doing it. You see, the whole thing is upside down. That in truth or in reality, it is God who is doing everything. But you think that you are doing, and because you think and feel and believe that you are doing, you are getting bound. But the day you feel that you are not the doer, it is Baba who is doing through you, then automatically you will be emancipated in a phased manner. Gradually, you will be freed or emancipated, liberated. So, here Baba says, I am one with you. So, bit by bit, you have to go, inverted comma, you. That means the false, separative, egocentric, finite I has to go gradually. How? Now, Baba is giving us a DIY, do it yourself manual. When you buy any equipment, there is a manual, do it yourself. How to open, how to do, how to unbox a thing, how to what are. So here, this is Baba is giving us the DIY of how to conduct ourselves in life. So Baba says, you have to go. Today your nose, tomorrow your ear, then your eyes, your hands, everything. Baba is explaining in as if he is explaining things to a kindergarten child, a baby, that you have to go, which means what? That gradually your focus should move away from the limited I, and it should be focused on Baba, as if Baba is living in you, within you, and he is doing things through you. So gradually, I've been giving this formula 1, 2, 3. First, you enthrone Baba and all that. So here Baba says, so better think of me when you eat, when you sleep, see, or hear. That means everything practically. Enjoy all. Baba has never put those 10 commandments. Thou shall not do this, thou shall not do that. No. Baba is saying, enjoy all. Don't discard anything. Don't say this is un in irreligious, or this is unspiritual. Enjoy everything. Do not discard anything, but think it is Baba. Baba who enjoys, Baba who is eating. It is Baba sleeping soundly, and when you wake up, remember it is Baba getting up. In all this process, what will happen is that we have so beautifully integrated, woven Baba in our life, that every breath is nothing but Baba, 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 eating, drinking, sleeping, speaking, hearing, whatever, taking bath, going for potty, whatever, it is Baba who is doing. As a result, we have, what should I say, Ranga de Chunaria, as we say, we have actually rangofied us. We have actually painted ourselves thoroughly with Baba. Now, what will happen is, on one side, this is what I had said about formula of karma bandha. On one side, we keep on doing everything. We are doing it. As we are doing everything, our samskaras, which are the heirloom of millions of lifetimes, are being extinguished, expended, utilized, kharach hota hai, spent. On one side, it is spending. On the other side, I am being honestly honest, and I am being sincerely sincere, and I am thinking, feeling, behaving, believing that it is Baba who is doing. So when I installed Baba instead of my limited I, what happens is, when I do things through limited I again gather more samskar. On one side I am spending, on the other side I am accumulating. But when I am not there, I am not doing it, I feel that it is Baba who is doing it. Then on one side the samskaras are being utilized, on the other side there is no gathering of fresh inflow of samskaras. Gradually, my load of samskaras gets lower and lower and lower and lower. Such an easy methodology, never to be heard, never to be found anywhere. Baba says, enjoy everything, do not discard anything, but think. And when Baba says think, he wants us to be absolutely honest that it is Baba who is enjoying, it is Baba who is suffering, it is Baba who is sleeping, it is Baba here who has woken up. Keep this one thought constantly with you. Keep this one thought constantly with you. If you do wrong, then think Baba is doing wrong. If you do something which you are doing wrong. Now, why you are doing wrong? The logic is that you are compelled, in a way impelled, but I'm using the word compelled. You are compelled to do wrong because of the force of your samskaras. The samskaras or the impressions are such that it will give such a potent, heavy force for you to do something which is not right, which we call it wrong. You have done wrong. Now, when you have done that wrong, what is happening? The samskaras of that wrong are already spent, because the energy that is locked up in that samskaras of wrong is already now expended, diffused, utilized, over. On the other side, you are thinking honestly, sincerely, it is Baba who is doing wrong. What will happen? Those samskaras of what you have done wrong will not come to you, because it is Baba who has done wrong. You see, in the same way, again I am repeating, if you do wrong, then think Baba is doing wrong. If you get a pain, think it is Baba having a pain. Now, this is the proof of the pudding. We call it the proof of the pudding is in the eating. We can't have one-sided transaction that when I am enjoying myself, I will think it is Baba, but when I am having pain, I feel I am suffering. No, at that time also, think it is Baba who is suffering. It is Baba who is undergoing the pain, because you are not there at all. The I, the limited I, is not there at all. Think it is Baba who is having pain. And then Baba says something which is very sacred and also secret, because Baba is not saying what. Baba is saying, if you do all this sincerely, you will know something. He has kept at that. If you do this sincerely, you will know something. What is that something? We can all guess. But my guess would be that you will know that in reality, it is not I who is enjoying or suffering. It is Baba in reality, you will experience that every single incident in my life is Baba who is enjoying and it is Baba who is suffering. This is my guesswork. Many people can guess anything. In other words, there is a law. We call it a law of as if. And there are many workshops, there was this movie called The Secret, and there are many workshops on The Secret. What do? They ask us to focus wholeheartedly over a long period of time on as if as if I am rich, as if I am beautiful, as if I am healthy, whatever you want to say. And when you do that consistently over a long period of time, that law of as if will make that possible, and you will become rich, you will become healthy, you will get what you want. You will get what you want, because when you are focusing so strenuously and so seriously, you are creating a sort of energy, a vibration, a samskara, which will attract similar samskaras towards you. Samskaras of health, samskaras of abundance, it will come to you. But ultimately, all those samskaras are of what? Of illusion. So why should we invite more samskaras of health and wealth and prosperity and whatever, why should we do? So Baba says, if you use, Baba is not saying it here, but this is my bheja which is working, that if you work as if Baba is doing through me, as if Baba is eating, speaking, sleeping, elder, then automatically it will actually be our experience. In actuality, that experience will be that Baba is in reality doing all this and that I do not exist. And when we come to a point where I do not exist, what happens? You get realization. So, how simply Baba is saying, he's not asking us to do meditation, he's not asking us to do arti, puja, pratana, rituals, nothing. He's simply asking us to make him our whole-hearted and constant companion, as a result of which we lock into that law of as if. Baba doesn't say this, I'm repeating, this is my way of looking at the whole chapter. The law of as if will start operating upon us, and at the end of the day, we will actually feel and experience that it is Baba in me who is doing everything connected with me. So Baba says, if you do all this sincerely, you will know something. Try to forget yourself and do all for Baba. So here ends chapter number 38. Anybody has anything to ask, you may ask. We still have a few minutes. It is 6:13. I'll try to close by 6:20, 25, depending upon whether there are any questions being asked.
Hmm.
Yeah, go
Yeah.
ahead.
Yeah, Cyrus,
Yes, dear.
you, you always say that you can do what you want, you can eat what you want, drink what you want,
Yes.
no celibacy, no this, no nothing. But why did then Baba have different rules for his mandali?
If you ask why Baba did what, nobody in the world can answer why Baba did what. I am concerned with what Baba has told me, and this is what he told me, and I am supposed to practice. You got what I'm saying? See, the point is, why Baba did anything, can anybody answer? Baba is God, he can do anything. He can have different standards for different people in the mandli. Why did Baba not allow Mansari to cross the railway track? Can I answer? I do not know. You see,
Why
so
Baba kept Mehra in strict seclusion?
why Baba kept Mehra in so strict a seclusion? We do not know why. We can always guess so many things. So that why I have to only say that really I cannot answer this, because it is belonging to Baba. You will have to ask Baba in you, within you, and then you might get an answer.
Why did Baba give so many chapters on meditation in discourses?
I had already told you the whole story, that Don Stevens, who is one of the editors of Discourses, asked Baba once that you have given 8 chapters of discourse of meditation on discourses, but to the best of my knowledge, you haven't given meditation to any of your mandali, or even very, very few chosen ones. He had asked them to do meditation. Why? And Baba said, and these are words to the effect, that this chapters I have to provide for posterity. That means for people to come after 100, 200 years after I pass over. And Baba said this, and I'm repeating Baba's words as given by Don Stevens and as written in Lord Meher. I can give you the page number. I had done it in one of my earlier sessions. Baba said, but do not mistake me. Baba is saying, do not mistake me. For meantime, it is a waste of time and energy. These are Baba's words connected with meditation. Now, I am not saying meditation is not good. I know it is very good. It will give you very good karmas and samskaras, which we have to come again in the next life in order to spend it. But why do you want to accumulate good samskaras and then spend it later on in your next samskaras? When Baba is giving us a way to balance out the samskaras, no good, no bad, just pop and over. So that is why I say that many of the chapters, many of the things, Baba is misunderstood. It is not that Baba is against any kind of religious ceremony, nothing of that sort. If you do it with the heart, any ceremony, then it's not a ritual. You are actually doing. But what will it give you? It will give you good karmas or good samskaras, and good binds equally as bad binds. In the eyes of the truth, there is no good, there is no bad. But since we have not achieved that, we are working in the realm of duality, which is a good and bad. We call it good and bad,
But,
vice and
but
virtue.
maybe, yeah,
Sorry,
but maybe we are in need of those good samskaras.
maybe
Maybe
if
we
you are.
need it. Like our bank balance may be very low, on good samskaras, and maybe we need those good samskaras.
Who stops you from doing it? You amass good samskaras. No, I would rather do what Baba is asking me to do rather than do what I feel like doing. See, I will give you the page number. I think I had given it one of the sessions. I can always pull it out anytime very comfortably and easily, where these are Baba's words. Now, if you take that these are Baba's words, then you have to believe that Baba had said that in the meantime, it's a waste of time and energy. When, see, it is something very simple. And I give this example many times, that let us say in our good old days, so-called good old days, when we go to the doctor, that the doctor will give us about 10 tablets, green, yellow, pink, blue, white, etc. All that, and then you have to take it. Like vitamin A, B, C, D, whatever, K, X, Y, Z, whatever that may be. But today we get a nice big capsule which has all the vitamins in it. So you just take one, and that gives you. Now if you still want to continue doing that, nobody can stop you, isn't it? So Baba has given us an easy way out, and Baba has given us the other way out. Perfectly okay to do that. Baba
No, but
doesn't stop. Isn't Baba
you can do
doesn't?
both, no? You can do both. You can do both.
You can do both, but when you do the other, you can do both correct. By thinking that it is Baba who is meditating, then fine. Yes, you can do. Yes, I agree. But would you do that? That Baba is meditating, Yasmin is not. Then it is very good.
No, but our if we have lots of bad sanskaras, then maybe the good sanskaras can help us cancel off the bad
Of
sanskaras.
course, of course, I am not disputing that fact at all. See, there are various levels of Baba's ways. I'll give you the example. I've often been giving this, and people must be fed up of listening also. That at once upon a time, when we used to go from Mumbai to Pune, we used to go via those Khandala ghats, goal, jalebi type. Now what you have is the expressway, whatever that you call it, right? Now, if you have the expressway, if you still want to go through that road, who stops you? I mean, by all means, go. And that is what Baba has said, that in this avataric time, love and direct relatedness to the avatar is the highway of all roads leading to self-development. Inner development. Thank you, Soumya. Inner development. And while this way, the pathway, the highway, the expressway is open, you know, one should take advantage of that. And Baba said that that would remain open as long as I'm in the body and a few years thereafter. And people connote that few years to be about 100 years from Baba's dropping of the body. So when I got the highway, the expressway right in front of me, see, I am giving a personal opinion. I would rather use the expressway than go through all the other technicalities. Any which way, even that goal chakkadi, you will reach the goal. I'm not saying you will not reach the goal, but it will take a long time. That's about all.
So are you saying that after the avataric period is over, then people will again need all these things?
Yes, yes. The best thing would be I would give you on your personal chat the page number of Lord Meher. I would like you to go through that, where Baba said that after a few years, this way will now narrow down. And at that time, people have to rely on secondary methods. Baba uses that word, secondary method. And I have to provide for them. And that is why this meditation. In that means in unambiguous words, Baba is saying this. People take me and I know that I am against meditation. No, who am I to be against? I love meditation. After all, we are all meditating. Now I'm talking. What am I doing? Everybody is listening. What are you doing? You're meditating. You are cooking food. What do you do? You are meditating. You are watching a movie. What do you do? You're meditating. The only difference is that in the so-called structured meditation that you call meditation, you are meditating on a divine theme or a divine personality or a divine name. That's the difference. And it is good. I am not saying it is wrong or bad. Please, it is good. So if you are cut out for that, please do it and please continue doing it. But if I feel that I am not cut out for this, I would like to have the easy way out of enjoy everything, don't discard anything and think it is Baba who is doing it. That's all.
So after the avataric period is over,
yes.
And then you may need a guru also.
If
you may
are
need a guru.
I personally,
after the avataric period is over.
I personally feel that once you are connected with the avatar, you are connected for all times with the avatar. This is my personal feeling, because the avatar is the eternal living perfect master. The avatar is the only one who is constantly in connection with the creation. The perfect masters are not. If you are connected with a perfect master and the perfect master drops his physical form, he is no more associated or connected with the creation.
No, I'm talking of people who are born after the avataric period.
Exactly. So after, once you are connected with the avatar, Yasmin, according to me, you are forever connected with the avatar. You don't need to go in search of any masters at all.
No, I'm talking of people who are born after the avataric period is
obviously,
over.
Obviously.
They will need, no?
Yes, of course. If they are not connected with the avatar now, then obviously they will need, everybody needs a guru. But it's a great, great good fortune for us that we are in contact with the guru of all gurus, the king of kings, the lord of lords, the avatar of all times. The avatar is always one and the same. So once we are connected with the avatar, we are connected for all times, is all I say.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I will definitely give you the page numbers. You can go through it.
Okay. Yeah, thank
all right.
you.
Now, before we end,
Cyrus, there are lots of questions.
Oh my God. Okay. Before we end, just a reminder that today is the day, because Mechan Nori very lovingly sent me. Of course, I knew, but he always makes it a point to send me of the Wadia Park Darshan, 12th of September 1954, where he gave out two very important messages. One is Meher Baba's call, and the other is how to love God. Just wanted to make a mention about that. Yeah, anybody, fatafat, let's do it. And people, if they want to, please leave for the Dhuni. Please feel free to leave. Whatever questions are there, I'll try to answer it as fast as I can.
Recording then later.
Yeah. Please go ahead.
Cyrus Mayer here.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
you're saying whatever we do, we have to consider as if Baba is doing.
Yes,
So supposing a murderer goes and murders somebody, anybody goes and
yes,
so can he say that Baba is doing it?
yes, he can say that. And if he's hanged to death, he has to think Baba is hanging. Yeah, because you have to be sincere about it, no? You can't have one-sided, only assets and no liabilities, no. In everything and anything, it is Baba who is enjoying, Baba who is suffering. Got it?
Okay.
You can't
Yeah,
have
yeah, thank you.
one-way traffic. You have to be
Right.
sincere about it.
Thank
Anybody
you.
else?
Ram, Ram,
Yeah.
Ram.
Yes,
Ram,
Bobby, go ahead.
oh, it's Ram in line.
I think Bobby wants to ask.
Yes,
Oh, no,
after Ram.
Sorry, when is this Avtaric period ending?
Sorry.
When does this Avtaric period end?
Well, the period is connoted as 100 years from Meher Baba's manifestation. And now you will ask, what is the date of manifestation? I will say, I don't know. So to make it very easy for every one of us, we say that it is 100 years after dropping of the physical form of the avatar, which may or may not be correct, which means 2069. Okay,
Thank you.
welcome.
Ram.
But I am not correct on this. I am again saying it because many of the Manlis are also differing with regard to this aspect of Meher Baba's manifestation. Okay, then thank you, Baba. Thank you, everybody. Avatar Meher Baba.
Baba ki jai.